Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we are looking at our favorite video each and every weekday. Nate, it is our player props on a pretty nice slate here in the NBA tonight during Thanksgiving week. Definitely want to make sure to like and subscribe to that page. We got a couple other game videos up for you today as well. Also want you to head to thelines.com. That's where we have our great written content for you guys all season long. Nate throws the props up there for you guys. And we have our great odds finder tool that you can go ahead and use to make sure you're shopping those lines and these props to the best of your ability. Nate, let's go ahead and get into your first play a prop for tonight.
Yeah, I mentioned in that first game video we have that the Hawks, Cavs, the total seems a little low. Trae Young's total seems a little low as well at 26.5 points. Really like the 35.5 points assists since he is always a double-digit assist threat as well. And he's really what I call a scheme breaker against the Cavs. They're a great defense, but they have not been able to hold him in check with that oversized front line. He's averaging 35.3, 9.7 assists, and shooting 50% from the floor, 46% from three in his last three regular season meetings with the Cavs. Also had 38-9 in a play-in game against them last year. Atlanta scoring 125 with a 133 offensive rating with Trae leading the way there. And this year he's actually been a little bit better on the road, more efficient, 116 offensive rating versus 109 at home. And the Hawks in general are shooting better from three on the road. And his average is 27.5. I think he can definitely get his average on the road here. And he's coming off impressive performances at home against Toronto and Boston, two defenses that I think are more difficult for Trae to deal with than these Cavs right now because of their rangy wings. And he had 33-12 against Toronto on Saturday, 27-9 against Boston, even though the Hawks did not compete down the stretch. So would have hit these props in both of those. And the Hawks' slight rest advantage now. The Cavs are on a back-to-back. They're not going to be playing. They're not going to have Karis LeVert, and I think that makes it even more exploitative for Trae to attack some of these younger guys on the wing.
Yeah, I'm going to take Trae on the road a lot. I thought this would be a little bit higher. Obviously, yeah, that Cavs D, it's good. It's like you said, it's not quite what it was last year. I mean, probably at the very least because they're better on offense as well, and sacrificing a little bit of that. I mean, obviously having Donnie and Darius on the floor at the same time, you like that for Trae in this game, and that causes a little bit of an uptick maybe in his possible points tonight. We like points in this one as well, as we talk about in that game video, so I think it's a good opportunity here. I'm going to go for a game that I think will also have points, mostly because the Warriors cannot play defense to save their lives, and they're in New Orleans tonight. So taking this, a back-to-back for them. They did beat the Rockets and get their first road victory yesterday. Did not cover that 10.5 point spread, which was way too high for an 0-8 team on the road. But 28.5 points tonight for Steph. I don't know if Clay is going to play or not. He finally went off last night and put some of the criticism to not necessarily to bed. He has to keep doing it, but at least quieted it for a night. Like I said, I don't know if he's going to be playing tonight. Steph at 28.5 points, very high. He's at 32.5 on the season. In a situation like this where I don't know what, where they're on the road, their offense, Jordan Poole, all these role players, even Clay before last night, just bad on the road, just so much worse. Their offense isn't quite the same even on the road as it is at home. It's just their defense is just so much worse on the road. So I do like points in this game again. 28.5 points, 4.5 threes. If you get over that, I mean, for him to make 5 on FanDuel is minus 130 right now. You look at what he loves playing against New Orleans. He loves playing in New Orleans. His last 4 versus them, wherever they're playing, 31 points, 5 boards, and 7 assists, all across 33 minutes. Key stat there, 6 for 15 from 3 per game in those last 4 versus New Orleans. Love that he's taking 15 threes for this bet. Like I said, likely no Clay. You look at Steph on the road in this season, the last 10, 33 points a game, 8 boards, 8 assists. That's in 37 minutes. I think he gets a few more minutes on the road for a reason. They need him a little bit earlier in games as they've been losing a lot in the fourth quarter, and so they can't wait for the 6 or 7 minute mark for him to come back in. He's coming back in at like 9 minutes left in the fourth right now. 5.5 threes on around 12 attempts in those last 10 roadies as well. That's something that you're going to keep saying. He's going to have 12 3-point attempts tonight. And if he's going to shoot 43%, 42% from three like he has this season, and he's able to get those five, plus you look at the way he's getting to the line, probably finishing better around the rim this year than ever before. I think one time he's had better field goal percentage in the paint, and that was his unanimous MVP season. So back to his old ways, looks really, really good. And without Steph or without Clay, without Poole playing well on the road, there's not much else for this team right now, who is still not necessarily back in the conversation for a playoff contender, or at least championship contenders coming out of the West just yet. They're gonna have to do a bit more, and it's going to continue to be Steph who's got to pull them through on offense. So 28.5 points seems very reasonable for him.
Yeah, at first, weren't you like, I'm interested in the under on Steph? And I said, like, are you crazy? Like, there's no way you should bet an under. Maybe you want to stay away from an over sometimes, but he's having the best season of his career. Like, right? Isn't he playing better than he was when he was unanimous MVP? He's like 32 points, 7 dimes, 53% from the floor, 45% from three. He's a plus 103. The Warriors starting lineup is like the best lineup in the league, and then their bench is like the worst. So I mean, yeah, it's just like no matter how this game kind of unfolds, it's Steph's going to get his, and he's either going to carry the Warriors to competitive, or he's hopefully not going to get blown out and then have to sit in the fourth quarter. But as long as it's relatively close, he should be out there. In this Bucks Blazers game, we wanted to look at the Blazers plus 10, stars out, bets up. The Bucks are just a real scary team when they're at home right now. They're finally back to almost full strength. I mean, Drew Holiday might be on a minutes limit to a degree. He came off the bench last time, but they have Drew. They have Javon Carter playing like a dog, and they have Giannis, of course, and that is a tough matchup for Jerami Grant, who I think his prop spiked because Dame Lillard is out for a couple weeks, and he does see a higher usage. You're looking 5 games with the Blazers without Dame. 21.5 points, 5 rebounds, 4 dimes, about 25% usage. His props at 20.5 points against the best defense in the league. And Giannis, who has a 100 individual defensive rating. And the 3 turnovers per game with that increased usage when he's been on Portland, that's actually the most interesting thing to me. Over 2.5 turnovers at plus 150 at DraftKings. He's hit that in 4 or 5 without Dame and on the Blazers here. But I'm going under 20.5 points. Also like under 2.5 threes. He's right now in those 5 games again, hitting 2.2 threes at a 41% clip. And that's way above like what you would say is the statistical average for a guy like Grant. He's not a 41% 3-point shooter, and he's not going to be that in this matchup because the Bucks are running people off the 3-point line. They're 5th in 3-pointers allowed, and they're not giving up anything else either. 2nd in paint points, 1st in assists allowed, and fewest points to power forwards in particular. Again, Giannis. So I'm going under on Grant for sure tonight.
Yeah, I like it. Also got Patty Connaughton back. Helps that wing defense for sure. Wes Matthews is out, but yeah, I mean, with Patty Connaughton back, Grayson Allen still out there. You've got some rangy, athletic dudes on the wing guarding guys out there, which is the only place that I would feel comfortable betting on Jerami Grant, is that he's going to stand out there, and Giannis might not go all the way out there, and now you're depending on a few other guys to get their hands up in Jerami Grant's face when he has run to the corner and shot a lot of threes from over there where he's successful. So that would be the only place that I would consider him able to have success. But I do, because he's not coming in the paint. With these two guys out there, obviously Giannis waiting for him, and then Brolo coming off trying to block shots as well. So yeah, at home for this Milwaukee defense, I was thinking maybe over on Anthony Simons, but even that scares me a little bit. I mean, I could see this being a somewhat lower scoring game for sure, as these Milwaukee home games have been wont to do this season. So we're going to finish things off here with a guy we haven't taken enough, obviously big friend of the show and player props MVP, Demar Derozan, DDR as he's finally known. It's 24.5 points, minus 105 at DraftKings. So like even money for him to get 25. He's done that twice now against Boston this season. The first win, the first game that they played there, 25-5-5 in a win over Boston that first game. 46 points last time out in that most recent game on the 4th of November. And yeah, I mean, he's had some up and down games sort of against the Celtics overall, but like the last 2, the way that they're playing and the way that this defense for the Celtics is not the same defense. It's also playing a little bit faster and just so amazing on offense that it's just a slightly different makeup. In this year so far, DDR has had plenty of success success against him. We talk about the Bulls just being anemic lately on offense, but the thing that they continue to do well is shoot from the mid-range, because that's the thing that Demar continues to do well. His last 4 overall against whomever they're playing, 30 points a game on 57% shooting. So that's sort of the exact sort of range that we saw from him last season when he went on that insane tear, right, for like 10 games in a row. 35 minutes a game with that 32% usage. And we talk about Zach LaVine just really has not been the guy that they need him to be this season so far. Getting some points. It's a little bit more your turn, my turn, but the offense hasn't really turned into something that scares you. It's mostly just, is DeMar going to make this shot as he goes one-on-one from 15 feet out? And we continue to like him to be able to do that in all his matchups.
Yeah, not much to say here. I mean, DeMar DeRozan is 25 points is pretty low for the DeMar DeRozan of last year. We haven't seen that guy consistently, but we have against the Celtics. And I mean, Boston at some point has to slow down. They're on a 9-game heater here. I think we at least see the Bulls put up a good fight at home. And he's done that twice this season against the Celtics, topped this total. I mean, crushed this total last time out. So yeah, I think it's a solid pick for sure at even money.
Yeah, and it was a weird, ugly game the first time that he still got 25. We talk about the Celtics shot 37% from the field in that game. Just crushed the flow of the game at all, and he still, like we said, get 25 points with that 32% usage rate. So give me that even money for 25 on our guy. And that is all the time we have for you in this one. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along. We are coming back to you guys each and every weekday of this regular season. So until we see you next, happy betting.